y'all, it is Stick the Eagle, and I am today looking into some of my gear. So this is my Sea to Summit sleeping bag liner that I plan to bring with me, and I'm going to put that back in its little case right here. This is the new bag that I got. It's a Nemo 20 degree, which should compress into much smaller than my current bag and help with the space issue that I'm having. And it even comes with its own compression sack right here, so see how that helps. So this is what the two bags look like next to each other, and to my surprise, they don't actually look all that different. So I'm going to try to fit it into my pack and see how that goes. Just weighed this camera equipment bag. It comes up to about 4 pounds. Hi Maisie. Hi Jasper. You guys are so cute together. This is what my pack looks like right now. I brought it to REI to see if I could figure out how to, let's see, shake it down and get it a little lighter, because it's a little on the heavy side right now. Alright y'all, I'm walking in town now after a little bit of an eventful day. So it is crunch time. It's less than 30 days out now to my Appalachian Trail through hike start day. And as I mentioned in my last video, I am struggling. I'm definitely struggling with my sleeping bag and the pack size. And I was trying to determine what to do about that. So I went to REI thinking I was going to look at new pack sizes and then order a bigger pack size from Amazon that I was looking at, that I was really happy with. But the pack itself is 5 pounds. It's a heavy pack. But I was like, I need it so that I can fit all of my gear into it, including my big sleeping bag. Well, I went to REI, and this guy named Bill, thank you, Bill. This guy named Bill helped me to discern that it is not a bigger bag that I need, but in fact a smaller sleeping bag, a bag that compresses into a smaller size, which is what I initially wanted anyway. That's why I went and got a whole bunch of compression sacks. Not a whole bunch, I got two compression sacks. And with those compression sacks, my goal was to get my big sleeping bag into them and then compress it down so that I could fit horizontally into my sleeping bag. But I realized that my bag that I had, 0 degree bag, was not compressing as much as I wanted it to, or as much as I thought it was going to. So I resigned myself to the fate of, I thought there was a quarter on the ground. I resigned myself to the fate of having to store my sleeping bag vertical and having it take up most of my pack, which is why I then was like, well, I guess I just need a bigger pack to make sure I have everything I need. So I went to REI, and this guy named Bill hooked me up with a narrow 20 degree sleeping bag, and with my liner, my 15 degree fleece Sea to Summit liner, that will take me down to a 5 degree rating, which should be perfectly fine for the mountains in February. So I ended up getting that bag yesterday, which I was comparing with the video clip you saw earlier about how I was trying to compress that bag down. Well, that bag did not compress as far as I wanted to either, but then I went back to REI to try to figure that out and try to see if I wanted to return that bag because it wasn't going the way I wanted it to, or if the bag was okay. And to make a long story short, there's a guy at REI, not the same guy, but they allowed me to take my pack in and take everything out and start going through some things. And one of the things that they did was teach me how to get it even more compressed. So they were able to compress it down so that I could actually fit it into the sleeping bag compartment of my backpack, which is huge because that saves a lot of room in my main part of my pack. So I'm happy again with that sleeping bag because it is a lot smaller, in fact, than my other bag, and I'll insert a picture of that here, what the guy in REI got it down to. So that's good. And then I convinced myself that, well, maybe my bag that I have is good, even though it is a little bit older. Because if you remember last video, I mentioned how both my sleeping bag and my pack were a little bit older, and I was questioning my big three. So I made a big change to one of my big three here, and I am keeping my other big three, which is my backpack. I've invested too much into my hammock system to change much about my hammock system right now, but I did make a small change to my rain tarp because I was trying to save some weight. So I'm actually saving a pound thanks to the guys at REI who weighed my rain tarp compared to one they had, and it was a whole pound less. So I'm intending to use that one instead of the one that I originally packed. And they recommended that I cut out my insulating blanket and just use the underquilt by itself. I have a system from One Wind that allows you to hook the insulating blanket to the underquilt and have it twice as warm. But they said, like, with the windsock that I have and the bag and the liner, that I shouldn't need both layers, and I can save a lot of space and about 3 pounds by actually dropping that extra layer. So I am doing a shakedown in a hammock this weekend, so I'm going to try to see if that's comfortable for me and if I miss the other layer. But after I put my pack on with it fully loaded, which I haven't actually done before, I did that today, and I started realizing that this pack was heavy. It felt heavy, and my knees started feeling it right away. So I'm a little bit concerned about that. I'm a little bit concerned about the pack weight. So I'm looking to cut whatever is unnecessary, whatever I can get by without, and also free up some extra space. So cutting out the insulating blanket helps do both of those things. So, long story to say, I am still working on shutting down my gear and changing a few things out in the last month before my through hike, which I don't know if a lot of people do that. So it's certainly crunch time here as I figure out all these things. The guys at REI did measure my base weight and without food and water and everything else, also without clothes, because I'll be wearing most of my clothes, but I'll be having a few extra clothes in the pack, of course. It came to 36 pounds. So it's my first measurement of my base weight that I have. That's not including my camera equipment, which is like 4 pounds by itself, but that I intend on wearing in a fanny pack on my stomach, hip area in front of me to balance out the weight. So 36 pounds, it's heavier than I wanted, but it's better after I cut out that extra blankets, an extra 3 pounds. It would have been 40. So my goal was 30. Maybe the folks at Mountain Crossings will still help me shake that down a little bit more. But I wanted to get some of that done at REI so that I didn't have to worry about mailing my equipment back. So that's helpful. So that's what happened with my equipment today. Now, as far as what else Alright, y'all, so I just randomly ran into my old scout leader, my old Cub Scout leader, and we had a long conversation for a bit. So now it's getting dark, but just wanted to say the other meeting that I had today was with the church committee, the Committee on Ministry of the New Haven Association, of which I'm trying to serve as a pastor. I served as a pastor in Ohio for 3 years, almost 3 years, and then that opportunity ended after a while because some of the leaders and I were on different pages. I'll just put it mildly like that. And I've been waiting for the process to move forward. And I've been having a series of meetings with this committee that's supposed to be able to move that process forward. And I just felt like I've been pushed along, told to do things, given a shopping list of things to do, and then I come back after I've done the shopping list and they're like, well, we still don't feel like you're ready for full-time called ministry. And I'm like, really? But I felt called to do this for the past like 10 plus years, longer than 10 years. I've been working for this for all this time, wanting to serve in called ministry, and I'm very sure it's what I want to do. And they're like, we're not sure. Have you considered these other options?
They want to see you be successful in whatever you do. And there's a good reason to perhaps consider taking a pause from this process. And I'm wondering how that feels to have somebody suggest that to you. Utilizing some of your gifts and skills and years of experience working with scouts, and which has obviously provided you with a great deal of satisfaction from what we've heard, more satisfaction than anything else we've heard you really articulate. So I hope you hear that, because I think it is our understanding that Bonnie has suggested a pause to you. And I hear you making that pause into a pause before you get into ministry. And I think, at least I would want you to hear it as suggesting something a little bit further than that. And I'd like to hear your reaction to that.
So they're asking me to consider other career options, like a career in teaching or a career in Boy Scouts, and I have considered a career in teaching. I think I can definitely be utilized well there and enjoy it. It's just not what I originally worked for. Career in Boy Scouts, I can see myself enjoying that too. What I want to do with my life is serve others, find some way to serve, just keep serving others. So I took a history practice test over the weekend to prepare to be a history teacher. I'm trying to see if I can find district shortage position for anywhere in the country, really. I don't care where, for the fall, to start there, and or find somewhere else, who knows. But it's disappointing that that ministry cannot move forward yet, so that I have to count on my backup plan, which was teaching, and that's not even so sure because I don't have a teaching license yet, so I'd require a shortage position license of some sort. So it is what it is. That's what I'm working with. So that's a big life update and pack update and so forth. I was going to do my gear video and then it turned into something else, but you know, I had to dial in some more stuff. So that'll end it here long enough. Get that street light out of there. Didn't intend on blogging and it was this dark, but hey, it was good to run into people I knew on the street randomly. I love random moments like that. So it is Stick the Eagle here. I am preparing to backpack the Appalachian Trail. Oh yeah, one of my other concerns was weight, because I mentioned that, but weight is a big concern because I don't want to feel it in my knees and I want to take care of my knees and so forth. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes here in a little bit. But I have a new concern about pack being too heavy. But I've dialed in some more, so I've cut out like 4 or 5 pounds, so that'll help at least. And I've gotten more room for food and clothes than I had before. So the pack will work. The pack will work. So I'd love to get back in the light over here. But it is Stick the Eagle, and I am preparing for a Appalachian Trail through hike in 2024, Nova from Georgia. I also have an Instagram account by the same handle, at Stick the Eagle, and I wish for you all to embrace the journey. I'm gonna get my conclusion right soon after I do it enough. But if you would like to follow along on my AT journey, please be sure to subscribe. I also have an Instagram account, at Stick the Eagle, so you can follow that as well. And until then, embrace the journey and happy trails.